Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live. Today, we're going to be talking about giving thanks. And for those of you who might not have seen the program before, what we do is we're like an extended family of viewers. And so the first part of the program is always about news, views, and updates on our viewers and myself. And then we get on to the topic of today, which will be giving thanks. So welcome to everybody, and hello there, Jody, good to see you. What I wanted to make sure that you understand is that if you choose to just watch the broadcast and not comment, no problem at all. We love people who do that. If ever you do comment, I will probably, until I get to know you pretty well, ask you whether it's okay to talk out loud on some of your comments. When we finish the broadcast, I will disconnect the chat. Sometimes that takes a little bit longer than others, but I will disconnect the chat. And so, but anything that I say will stay on the broadcast. So from that point of view, hi Mary, from that point of view, I just like to give you a heads up until I get to know you. Once I get to know you and you get to know that anything that you put up, hi Emil, that I will be, I presume if you've been here quite a few times that you know that what you put up, I'm going to repeat. So, but if you're new, I'm inclined to ask first because maybe you don't know that that is a reality. So welcome to everybody. It's been a great week for a lot of people I know, and it's been a difficult week for a lot of people that I know as well. So we're going to be looking at both sides of that today. And first of all, let me just say that just make sure that I'm, for the people who might be watching on the replay, if you don't want to listen to the news, views, and updates that we do, you're going to see a little note at the bottom, and it'll go from 00 to such and such a time, news, views, and updates, and then from this time onwards, the actual topic of today, which today is giving thanks, all right? So that's hopefully got everybody sorted out. First of all, we like to do thoughts and prayers. And thoughts and prayers today, high on my list has to be Lauren. Hi, Alice, good to see you. Lauren's sister, Louise, had 3 strokes in the space of, I don't know, Jody, was it 48 hours? And the first one was serious, but she still had use of, I think, her left hand, left arm. The second one was more serious, and she lost use of that as well. And then the third one happened about 12 hours ago, I would think, maybe a bit more. Yeah, Jodie's confirming she's had 3 strokes in 3 days, as far as we can work out. And so just scary, but this last one was, from what we can see, pretty serious. But the good news is she's still alive. But the last we heard, she doesn't have use of anything yet. Now, for those of you who know anybody who's had a stroke, a serious stroke, sometimes that happens, and then slowly the body starts to relearn things. And I know that happened to my aunt. She had a very serious stroke, and she managed to work her way back into a full recovery. And I was saying to Lauren that what I remember was she spent probably a year with one of those stress balls, and she was forever. In fact, sometimes she had 2, and she was forever using her hands to do that because she wanted to get the strength back and the understanding back into her hands. And so that is a really important part. Jody, for those of you who know, she's been trying to get a van. Jody is getting more and more incapacitated in terms of her ability to do anything. And now it's difficult for her to get in and out of a car. And so, thoughts and prayers, please, that somebody somewhere comes up with a van for her that she and Lionel can use to get her to appointments and things. what I'm amazed at is that, I'm so spoiled here in Canada, because here in Canada, if you're in that situation, you make a call and a medical van comes, and it's all part of the system as far as I know. Anyway, so I just wanted to give thoughts and prayers for that. I don't have any updates on Erin for those of you who, we do have one in. Yes, I think I said that I have heard what she struggles with. I got it wrong last broadcast. It's actual cerebral palsy that she has. That's right. Okay, and Alice now giving us an update. Good, Alice, give it to me and I'll type it in so I can repeat it on the other broadcast this week. Okay, Alice, you had 3 slip discs that we last heard of. And something else. I can't remember what the and something else was. Jody will remind me. She's very good like that. All right, so let's hear it, Alice. By the way, I've just while we're waiting for Alice to type that out. Wow. Okay, so that's pretty sad to hear. Alice is saying that she's just heard there's nothing that they can do to help her. Wow. Hi, Linda. That's very, very sad to hear. Very sad to hear. So now it's a case of how do they manage it with the drugs, right? And from what I remember of you, Alice, you are not somebody who likes to take drugs. So this is very difficult. You know something? It's Alice. I've got some back issues myself, so I have full sympathy for you. And I must say that I borrowed Yvonne has a. Yvonne, for those of you who don't know, is my tenant downstairs, but she has a massaging heat pad. And I borrowed that for the week because my back was really tensed up. And I've got some issues going on there. And so what I did is every day I sat for an hour and used that. And boy, that really did help the muscles relax a bit around the problem areas. So, and, I put it immediately on my Christmas list, because they always ask me, what do I need? Yes, Alice, that's what I seem to remember. Alice is confirming, I only take drugs when I'm between crying or screaming from pain. Yes, you have a very high pain threshold to start with. So for you, I think I relate to this quite a bit. I was at the doctor's this week, and was it this week or last week? Anyway, I was at the doctor's and, it was quite funny because I said, what do I do about something? And he said, have you tried taking pills? And it was just like, yeah, but I don't like to do that. He said, well, you're at a stage where you may need to. And so that was interesting to me. And also to remember, wow, Alice, you're trying to give up smoking. Well, you know that I smoked for for most of my life. I'm going to say 60 years, but obviously I didn't start smoking when I was 10. But I want to tell you, Alice, anything you can do to help the circulation and blood flow is a wonderful idea, no doubt about it. And I'm certain we've got other people that are on now and will be viewing that understand pain, and they can probably tell you what they do. You smoked for 20 years. Yeah, I smoked for about 50, I think. So, very, very important. We'll see what non-medical ideas people have for you, because I'm pretty sure that everybody's got their own way of doing it. Obviously, hot showers help relax the muscles, and cold, right? I'm never quite sure. And I always understood that, to alternate it helps as well. Probably completely messes up the system. For those of you who are watching for the first time, please remember to subscribe to the Dear Mama Sal Facebook page. Oh, and ring the bell. There's a bell here somewhere down here. Please ring this bell, because that will, if you just click on it, it'll make sure that whenever we're going to do a broadcast, that, and sometimes we do surprise ones, that you will be able to be advised of that. I also would suggest Twitter, because I put notices up on both, and that's also Dear Mama Sal. So that's nice and easy. So yes, Jody's suggesting, have you tried a Cossack? That's that very little bone at the bottom of your spine. If you've ever hit it, you know that it is the bottom of your spine, because boy, can you feel it. Yeah, one of those cushions. Looks like a donut. Am I right, Jody? Is that the one? Yes, Maria is saying, there's some back stretches. I wonder, I'm pretty sure they've probably given her the back stretches. Obviously lying on the floor with your feet up on the couch apparently helps a great deal. Okay, so Alice, fair enough. Alice is saying she'll give us the heads up when she's ready to hear possible ways of being able to relieve that. But that this is not the time right now. She's still dealing with processing it all. Totally understand that. Yes, an inversion chair is, I hear an inversion, and that's right. And, they're one of those ones where no gravity. Yeah, has anybody ever been on one? I got on one once, and I was amazed at what it does. Yeah. Anything that stretches your spine out a little will help, I guess. All right, so let's move on. Sending big hugs to Alice, obviously. And Alice, how kind of you to let us know. I'm really thankful for that, because there are an awful lot of people that may not even be on the broadcast now, but do check on things that really do care about you and know of you, and remember all the days that you came onto the broadcast. And so they will be really obviously sad to hear that you're in pain, but so glad that you shared it with us. Yeah, Marie's saying that her dad bought one for her mum, and they took turns on hanging upside down. Yes, it's amazing what it does. And I believe that if you do have a slip disc, it does help stretch the spine out, so that, hopefully they can, pop in again without too much trouble. But they're expensive. And, I know Alice is on a limited budget. So anyway, let's not do that for her, because she's saying that she just wants to process at the moment, and we'll give her, maybe keep notes about these ideas so that we can put them all together and then, send them to her when she needs them. How about that for an idea? Right, does anybody have any news for the week? And while you're typing, you might have seen that my news for the week is that I bought Clarence. And Clarence the cleaner, I call him. This is Clarence. I'm in love. I am totally in love with this little thing. It's a robotic cleaner. Whoops. Oh, I accidentally. Yeah, I hit the start button when I didn't mean to. There we go. It's a robotic cleaner, and inside it has a little dustpan, which is great. And then the most magical thing about it, I didn't bring it with me, but yes, I did. It also has a mop attachment. So you just, I want to show you this, because this to me, okay, has a mop attachment. So it also mops floors. You just take out the dustbin, and it has a little water container that you put in. And by the way, tip for the week, or tip for the day, have any of you noticed that when you mop a floor, it leaves lines where you've been mopping? If you have that problem, use filtered water. Obviously, you can use distilled water if you have it, but if you've got a fridge that filters water, or if you have a filter jug, use filtered water to mop your floors, and you won't have any lines on it. I learned that this week. The other thing is, this is really useful for dry mopping I found that in my bathroom, for example, I use a lot of baby powder. And so this really pulls up the baby powder beautifully. Anyway, cannot tell you how impressed I am with that little thing. It is just amazing. All right, so you also bought yourself a gift. You bought a game course. Well done. Well, I'm delighted that you bought yourself a gift. I think for a lot of us, remembering to buy ourselves a gift, and we'll talk more about that in tonight's program when we do Christmas stuff, but, well done. Looking after yourself is really important. By the way, that particular gift for me is more than just a luxury. It is, it really, I want to tell you, it's changed the look of my house. Not only that, when I see how much it is pulling up on a daily basis, without needing too much attention to it, I am sure that my allergies will improve. I can see now why I've got allergies, if you know what I mean. When I see how much that thing collects in a day, it's frightening. So what I thought I'd do is I put it on, while we were chatting, and then you can see what it pulls up. If you can hear it and it's annoying. Okay, there, Clarence. If you can hear it and it's annoying, let me know. I doubt you will because it's really whisper quiet. But and just remind me before I close the broadcast to check to see how much he collected. All right, so healthy eating. That's another one of our topics before we get on to the. Oh, wait. 1 step at a time first. 1 step at a time. Has anybody got anything that they're trying to do that we can help you take a next step with? Tonight, I'm going to be talking about the system I've just come up with this year. And I want to thank you all, by the way, for allowing me to do the Friday night Christmas thing, because it really has inspired me to start Christmas earlier than normal. Mm-hmm. And I'm certain that I'm going to end up with a lot less panic because of it. And so I do thank you for that. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the system I put into place for Christmas this year, which I've never had before. Healthy eating, I'm going to talk about in a second. But I just wanted to tell you, one of the things that I had to do because of the visit to the doctor was to get some blood tests done. And I also need to get a CAT scan done. but it was one of those blood test things where you had to fast overnight. And I really did a good job. I made sure I hid my coffee cup so I couldn't automatically go and grab my coffee for the morning. And then I wake up in the morning and I sort of went to the coffee maker because, it's amazing the things you do without thinking, right? And I went straight to the coffee maker and guess what? No cup. And I'm going, well, oh, yeah, I remember now. And then what I had to laugh about was you don't realize how many things you do without even thinking in a morning before you wake up. Now, for me, that drinking 2 cups of coffee, it's part of my routine. I answer my emails while I'm doing it. I take my first cup and I sort of get my brain half working. And then I have the second one, and that's the one that says, okay, fine, now I'm ready to start the day. And when you can't have that, it's amazing the difference it makes to your day. And so what I did was I had hot water instead, and actually it worked very well. However, what I found was in my DNA, and I didn't know it, was before you go out, go visit the washroom. How many of you, remember that from being a kid, and you've carried on with that same routine? Well, I did that, and for some reason I picked up the piece of paper that I needed for the blood tests, and what was written on there, I also had to have a urine test. And so I went, no, and I just went to the washroom. So I guzzled a whole stack of water, and then I went, okay, plan B. What I'll do is I'll go shopping. I had something I needed to do to mail something off, and I knew that would take a little bit of time. So I took a big jug of water, big bottle of water with me, and I was chugging it as I went along. So that was fine. And then eventually, now even later, I got to the the blood place, and it was closed. So I hadn't eaten or had any coffee or anything for over 12 hours at that point, and it was closed for training. How many of you can understand the feeling of that? How would you feel about that? I must admit that I just, I took the picture and I burst out laughing, and I went, and then it said, however, if you're in a hurry, you can do the blood tests at this location. And I'm thinking, if you think I'm waiting even longer to have a coffee today, you can think again. And I went home. I'll do the blood test next week. All right. So for those of you who like this part of the broadcast, I wanted to let you know we have 21 days until December. What's December? December is where we actually dance for donations. I got stuff. Dance for donations. We do a big fundraiser where Benji and Judy do this big fundraiser every year, and I'm part of it and have been since the beginning. And we got 21 days to go until we do that. So that's really, really exciting. For those of you counting down, I believe we have 31 days until Christmas. And we have 117 days until spring. And it was so cute. I can't remember who put it up, but thank you. Somebody put up a thing that said the best thing about winter is, I can't remember what it said. Something like there shouldn't be winter. The best thing about winter is when it's over. That's it. And I'm one of those people. I don't do winter well. I lived 17 years in Africa. I'm okay with the rain here in British Columbia, but the winter, the white fluffy stuff, very pretty for a day. Pat did that. Well, thanks to Pat. But I other than that, I just, I don't mind that white fluffy stuff for one day. Thank you. Very pretty. Take the pictures. Now go away. I don't want to be shoveling it. I've got better things to do with my life. So, however, it is what it is. All right. Healthy eating. I wanted to get onto that quickly. For some of you, you probably have heard that Jody and I are actually working at switching certain things up. And thanks to Beth again, and I'm going to keep thanking Beth because she was the one that inspired me to do it. One of the things that Beth was talking about was after you've switched up for a little while, you won't need certain foods the way you thought you did. And I'm amazed, and I've got to say this, I'm amazed that since I've been, pre-prepping healthy food, now if I want a quick snack, I go straight to the fridge and it's already prepared. There's no sort of, let me grab this because there's nothing ready. I already have a quick snack prepared, and guess what? It's healthy food. And I've been doing that, and I know Jody has as well. But what surprised me this week, and I have to say it surprised me, was I would make dinner, and I was quite surprised how many times I left meat on the plate, which I'm a meat eater. And so that was really surprising. I know Jody said that she has noticed a change as well. And so, interesting. I wouldn't have believed it. However, some things don't change. I did buy a Mars bar this week. And I'm still drinking latte. All right. Let's move on. Here we go. Jody, time check for 25 minutes. Yes, Jody's saying the same thing. Wow, Jody's saying, yes, I sure have noticed a difference. I left half the turkey on my plate yesterday. Yeah, I don't expect anybody to believe me on this one, but it is true. Yeah, I definitely have noticed a difference. All right, so let's see how it goes, Jody. We'll keep at it. By the way, has it made any difference on the scale? Not for me, but I'm going to keep working at it and not worry too much. So let's have a go here. We're talking about giving thanks. And I know for a lot of you who are in the States, you had Thanksgiving yesterday, but it continues to be your Thanksgiving weekend. And for those of us around the world, because some of us are geographically challenged, we don't live in the States. I thought, even so, it's a good discussion to have this weekend. So first of all, I wanted to talk to those of you who are in the States, and I wanted to know, how was your Thanksgiving? Was it good? Did you have fun? I'd like to know what you did that really made you happy this year in terms of doing that, or if you have next year, I really must remember to, let's hear that as well. If any of you got any funny stories to tell about it, just type them out. And what were your best dishes that you had? Which ones did you do that really went gangbusters? Yes, Jody, I agree with you. So Jody says every season is the season for gratitude. And how many of you agree with that? I think every day is the day for gratitude. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that in a second, Jody. So just bear with me, if you will. But I do totally agree with you that gratitude is actually the secret to happiness. I have found when you can learn to be grateful every day, you actually are a happier person. Have any of you discovered that? Instead of bitching and moaning, it's amazing how many people have strength through misery. For example, when I went and the place was closed, did I, have a hissy fit? No. Okay. So Jody's saying in her Thanksgiving menu, she made a sweet potato casserole with marshmallow on top, I might add. It was a big hit. And I know it's one of Lionel's favorites. And then they did an apple cranberry crisp as well. Yum. How many of you going, now I'm really hungry? And definitely high on the health food list, right? Both of those. Okay, so anybody else, just keep letting me have it. I wanted to talk a little bit about thanks. And so let's just go through and let's not worry about anything other than this is a list you may want to go through every morning. And that's what I wanted to discuss, and Jody preempted me on it. Every morning, you might want to go through the list and say, who am I grateful for today? Who is it that's in your life that you are grateful for? Maybe you can give me some feedback. I'm thinking, I'm so grateful to have Yvonne downstairs, who is like, who originally was a tenant and then went on to be a friend and now is family as far as I'm concerned. I'm very grateful to have her in my life. I'm obviously very grateful for Benji and Judy and the children in my life because they gave me a family I didn't have, and so that's awesome. And I'm looking forward to visiting them in a couple of weeks for December. So, and I was thinking about all of you, right? How grateful I am to have you in my life because you have helped me help so many people. And for that, I am duly grateful. If nobody had become a viewer, I obviously wouldn't have continued. And if nobody had continued, then and if nobody had watched, I wouldn't have continued probably. And then we wouldn't have helped all the people that we have. Yeah, Jody's saying for her, it's Lionel, myself, Lauren, and the rest of the viewers. Yes, I agree, Jody. We really, 3 times a week we get together and we share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think it's very healthy that we do that. And I'm very, very grateful for those of you. I'm thinking about all the different people we've helped over the years. It's been, just over 6 years now, I think. And it's, when did I start? 2012, yeah. So August the 25th, 2012 at 10:30 to be exact. So, all the people that we have helped, and we have helped a lot of people in different ways, and couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So my next question is, what am I thankful for? All right, and I'd like you to think about that, not who necessarily anymore, but what? What are you thankful for? Boy, am I thankful that I bought Clarence, who's busy out there. I can hear him in the distance picking up stuff. And by the way, I had no idea that I dropped so much hair in a day. But I do, apparently, and it's scary. So I'm really grateful that funny enough, I'm grateful that I got it, because I realized that my house is obviously going to be a lot cleaner. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. I keep thinking every morning how grateful I am not to have lived in Paradise, California, where a whole town is basically destroyed. And it's wonderful that famous chef is cooking, 35,000 meals or something, Thanksgiving meals. And I really was very impressed with that. But, you've got to think about it. That's a whole town that's going to have to find somewhere to live. They're going to have to, this close to Christmas, they're going to have to find not only somewhere to live, but how are they going to do Christmas for the children? Hopefully they'll all have help from all of us to do that. But, it's like, that's an awful lot of people that were displaced and will have to start again. And as we know, those wildfires, didn't just hit anybody, they hit the movie stars as well. So, it's really important that we give thanks, for the fact that if you are safe, that you are safe. So to me, I give thanks for that every day, that I wasn't there, because I so easily could have been, right? I could have been one of those people. I'm pretty certain, for those of you who have pets, that you are grateful for your pets. And I hope that you remember that every day. Because pets bring so much unconditional love to a lot of us. And I actually don't have a pet at the moment. Well, Clarence, I guess you could call him a pet. But I sure have started talking to him a lot. Yeah, Jody is saying she's thankful for the heat, because it was 8 degrees this morning, and every single thing that gets taken for granted in my daily life. Yes. Having a washer and dryer in our apartment is a blessing. Yes, now for those of you who don't know, Jody ended up without any heat about a week ago, and now she has it. And it was just perfectly timed. They had one really frigid night, but luckily it got fixed in a hurry. And yes, the washer and dryer in the apartment is really an important thing as well. I know that when I was looking at houseboats, Jody, one of the things that that one houseboat I really liked, it was a really cute little thing, but you had to go outside to use the washer dryer. And I'm going, nah, I'm not going to be doing that. Not in Canada, not in the rain and the snow. No, I'm not going to be doing that. So yeah, I'm very grateful to have my washer dryer downstairs. And in a way, I'm really grateful that it is downstairs, because it does make me do quite a few steps. Hi, Nyasha. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. We are talking giving thanks every day. That's the subject today. And Nyasha, did you manage to get hold of Linda? I'm hoping that you did. And for those of you who understand, we have people join us from all over the world. Nyasha joins us from Trinidad. I think I got that right. I'm always challenged with these things. And so, yeah, for those of you who have pets, how many of you are really grateful that you do, and why? Why? And the reason I say that, there you are. Yes, she got hold of Linda, and yes, I got it right. I do love it when I get it right, because, at this age, I forget more than I care to. So I look at it and go, that's a really important thing, to be very grateful for your different pets. And the other thing is, how many of you are grateful for your health, however it may be? How many of you are grateful to actually have woken up this morning? And I say that because I think what happens is that we forget that, we did still wake up this morning, and, we may need to take a pill or two or whatever it takes to survive the day, or not. But it's just like, be grateful for each day. And also, I keep thinking about the fact, and some of you know, I have a personal creed that I wrote probably 40 years ago. And part of that creed, it's what I want to have written on my tombstone. And it says, "Here lies Sal, who cared enough to share, shared enough to make a meaningful difference, and by so doing, became a gentle giant inside." See, it wasn't about I wanted to make a whole stack of money, or I wanted to do, I just, here lies Sal, who cared enough to share. Because I believe when we share who we are and what we know, we help other people. And that's the whole reason I started DearMamaSal. Because I believe that if enough of us shared the truth, and that's the interesting thing, if enough of us shared the fact that we weren't perfect people, if enough of us shared the, and that upsets me a lot with YouTube, is there's so many supposed perfect people, and that worries me, because I really don't think they are, that many perfect people. Or perfect families or whatever. So I said, no, I really did want to tell the truth on this one, that I have good days and bad days. And, I don't know about the rest of you, but, people will say, "Oh, you're an angel." And I'll thank them, because, that's a very nice compliment. Make sure you thank people first. And then I'll say to them, you haven't met me on a bad day, because I know a lot of people who will tell you that, yeah, there's the other side too. All right. And how many of you relate to that one? And, I'm grateful for both. Wow. Nyasha, so that triggered you, right? The fact that I mentioned my tombstone. And she says, "Oh my goodness, Sal, why say your tombstone?" Well, because this is what I believe, Nyasha. All right. Think about this one. Whatever you would like written on your tombstone is the way you should live now, so they can write that about you. That's what I read in a book a long time ago, and I thought that was brilliant advice. Brilliant. Whatever it is you would like them to say about you, all right, is what you need to work on right now. And so what I found, Nyasha, was that the first thing I had to do was to think about, what do I want them to write? And I wrote it down, and I was quite surprised what I wrote. And then from that point onwards, I have done what I can to live that life. All right. And yes, I'm alive, but it's interesting that the word tombstone concerns you. That tell me something, Nyasha. Do you know you're going to be alive tomorrow? Because if you know that for sure, then you've got different information from mine. You see, I realize that I could survive a lot of you, right? It's not written that just because I'm older than you that I will live longer. well, other than the fact for the amount of time that I've lived, but if you take the number of days I have left, I could outlive a lot of you. Look at what happened, and well, we pray that Lauren's sister will still continue to live, but it's like, I'm pretty certain that Lauren's family didn't expect, I think Lauren's sister is in her 40s, if I remember rightly, Jody, to have 3 strokes in her 40s in the space of 3 days. We don't know what's going to happen, Asha. So I'm a great believer, think about these things. Yes. All right. So it's interesting. So 49 years old. That's right. Yeah. So Nyasha, you don't like me talking about it. Well, that's your problem. All right. That is your problem and not mine. You see, I have no worries about talking about it at all. So take a deep breath and smile. And I thank you for caring. I get the love in that. Yeah. So, but I don't have a problem with that. We're all dying. From the moment we're born, we're all dying, about to die, right? It's just, it's guaranteed. That's the one thing in life that is guaranteed, as far as I know. So, but it's interesting that the word triggers you. And that actually, there was another word that triggered somebody this week. I'm trying to think what it was. Oh, I know what it was. Jody, can you make a note and make sure I discuss that Christmas word tonight? Because I think that was very interesting as well. And I want to make sure we spend a bit of time talking about that. Yes, thank you, Nyasha. I'm sure that Lauren will be very grateful for your kind thoughts. Yeah. So I'm going to read a couple of quotes. And for those of you who haven't been through this with me before, what we do in this segment is I will read some quotes. And then for those viewers who are watching, it's an idea, a moment to just think, what does that bring up for me? As I hear that quote, what pops into my mind? And so I was thinking, Al Green said, "I'm thankful for every moment." And I think that's a great quote. If you can be thankful for every moment, that means that when I found that the blood clinic wasn't available to me this week, I wasn't upset. I went, I said a short word in my mind, but then I laughed. And I went, well, thank you, God, for getting me out and about. And now I'm going home, to go and have my coffee and start my day. So, it's a really good thing to be thankful for every moment. I was thankful that I had a car, that I hadn't, taken an hour to get there, taking buses and things, for example, or maybe walked, So be thankful for every moment. And if that brings up anything for you, just type it up so we can share it with people. Now, this one I really liked. It says, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Isn't that true? So the fact that you may feel gratitude to somebody, if you haven't told them that, it's a waste. And I was really so grateful yesterday. I got a call from Benji, for those of you who know Benji, and I got a call from Benji, and it wasn't about December. It was a Thanksgiving call. And one of the things he said to me is, Sal, I'm going to be phoning you more. And I said, wow, thank you, honey. That would be such a great gift to me. And I realized that, we'd had a year where we hadn't communicated a great deal. We did communicate, but not a great deal. And I realize that he realizes that now. And so I'm very excited that we're going to do that, because I've always enjoyed being able to communicate with him. I'm very grateful, for example, that I know that for those of you who know Doug is on his way soon to go to Kenya to go and see his real family, because I'm his Canadian mum. And he is on his way, and I've packed up a whole lot of T-shirts and a couple of sweaters and things for him to take in his empty suitcase to Kenya, because he's got siblings that have nothing, that still live in the bush with no electricity or whatever. And so any, used clothes, they don't care. It's new to them. And so what I did is I just packed up a few T-shirts and a couple of things for them. And I'm grateful that I know Doug, because Doug reminded me, the same as I'm grateful to know Benji and Judy because of December, and this year, by the way, if you haven't seen it, this year we're supporting Save the Children. And what I will do is I will put up a link on my Facebook page, and so that you can donate if you choose to, or you can challenge other people to donate. One of the things I always like to say to people is, don't be upset if you don't have the money. One of the most important things about December is the hashtag December, because the more we use that, the more the word gets spread and the more possible people. I know that some of the big donors aren't viewers. They're the parents of viewers, for example. All right. When I look at the people who put in the big money, it's really interesting. They're not necessarily the viewers, that they're the viewers' parents. And so, I always say to people, you never know who in your circle of friends might be able to donate. You might not be able to, but spreading the word to your friends helps. And we'll be talking more about that as we get closer. So I'm very grateful to have these adopted sons in my life. And I say adopted because they adopted me. I had a little chat, for those of you who know Cisco, and he's my Mexican son. And it's funny, isn't it? I've got these sons from around the world, and he brings me great joy. He's always makes me chuckle, and he's just an absolute delight as well. And also very driven, very goal-oriented, and all those things. And so I'm very, very fortunate. All right, so Nyasha, you understand what I said. The fact you can't donate isn't the issue. You can help us spread the word, and I will be doing more to explain that to you in this week. Okay. So this is not all about you. It's about all the people that might be able to. Do you understand that, Nyasha? Wow, you've been teaching Nicholas how to hoover. That would be vacuum, for those of you who don't know hoover. Well, Nicholas, awesome. I'm delighted to hear that you're teaching him that. That's wonderful. So now he's going to have that responsibility. Yes, Nyasha, if you use the hashtag, it all helps. But more importantly, that is amazing, Linda, that you have done that for him. Is he enjoying it? I think it's wonderful that you've done that. Linda, if you would like to put up, so I can read it correctly, exactly why that is important in your life and in Nicholas's life. You know what I'm saying? If you'd like me to talk about that, because the fact that your son is vacuuming is amazing, but the fact that your son is vacuuming is doubly amazing. And so that's why I'd like permission to talk about it if you choose. If so, just type up exactly what it is, and so we can do it. And so to me, this is like one of the things to be grateful for is, okay, so Nicholas is Linda's son, and he has autism, if I'm correct, Linda. That's why I was asking you to put it up correctly. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And so, one of the challenges is not to treat him as incapable. And that's what I really see Linda does a wonderful job of actually seeing him as more than capable and helping him learn skills that a lot of people won't. Now, the interesting thing is that it's difficult to teach somebody those sort of skills. And so you understand Linda does an absolutely wonderful job of doing that. And by the way, Nicholas actually, for some reason, loves my voice. And for that, I'm very grateful. He wants to make stew tomorrow. Okay, that did it for me. Wow, that is great. Yeah. So will it be slow cooker stew, or are you going to do it a different way? You see, to me, I am very grateful to know you, Linda, because you've taught us a lot about what is possible. And for that, I thank you. And I think that I've always said that about young people. One of the things that I really get angry with adults with is how much they treat young people like idiots, not young people. My experience of young people is they are more capable than most adults ever give them credit for. Oh, Linda's saying yes with the slow cooker. Yeah, that's what I wondered. And she said she didn't mean to get to me. Well, you know something? I'm very glad that you do get to me, Linda. I really am. I think the day that it doesn't affect me will be the day that I'm not who I am. And so you keep doing that. It's fine. And I'm very happy. And I'm certain everybody else is too. I think it's, yeah, Jody's saying that as well. I think it's wonderful that Nicholas wants to make stew. Yeah. What sort of stew does he want to make? You know, is it beef or chicken or pork, or does he know? But I think it's grateful. So be grateful for this day, people. A lot of people didn't make it to today. Be grateful for that every day of your life, as Jody so rightly said. The Dalai Lama said, when you practice gratefulness, there is a sense of respect towards others. Wow. Linda's saying that he wants to make beef stew with dumplings. You know how long it is since I've had dumplings? You've got to send me the recipe for dumplings, please. Actually, you haven't got to. You may choose to. So when you practice gratefulness, there's a sense of respect towards others. How many of you agree with that? You know, when you are grateful, you do the other person a really big favor. You let them know that they make a difference in the world. And I think we forget that sometimes. And so we might think good thoughts, but do we actually act upon it? That was the previous quote, right? Do you actually do anything about it? And so let's make it our goal this year, from this point onwards, to not just think good thoughts about people, but actually phone them up and say, hey, I was thinking about you today, and this is what I thought, and I really believed you needed to hear it from me. Because I think that's important. And I'm sure you do too. Now, Melody Beattie, and you hear me quote her a lot because she taught me a lot about not being a codependent anymore. Melody Beattie says, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Oh, Linda's saying, I know I'm good at complaining, but I also believe in thanking and praising and letting people know I appreciate them too. Yes, Linda, and I want to tell you something. I don't think that people on Dear Mama Sal would say that you're known for complaining. I'd have to say that. I know when I first met you, you had a lot of challenges and you had a lot of terror and stuff going on. And luckily, we managed to help hold your hand through that. But I want to say you are definitely not a complainer in my book. You know, quite the opposite. I think your gifts to other people. I think about some of the incredible support you've given to people. You know, once you got to understand things a bit better, the fact that you pay it forward is the greatest gift to DearMamaSal. I can tell you that. We certainly appreciate it. Jody says, I imagine people in my life get tired of hearing me say, I love you. You mean the world to me. I make it part of the day to say it often because our tomorrows aren't guaranteed. Yes, I think that's really important. I think that is so important to remember that we don't know if there will be a tomorrow for any of us or any of our friends. All right, so Linda says, oh, I can write a mean letter when complaining. And boy, on the phone, look out. Yeah, we all have those days, Linda. So, you know, I think give yourself credit for, perhaps what I would ask for you, Linda, is to give yourself gratitude. Be grateful for how far you've come. All right. And the fact you're not perfect yet means that welcome to our world. There isn't anybody who comes to DearMamaSal that is perfect. In fact, I don't think there's anybody in the world that's perfect. Some are better than others at certain things, but I don't know anybody in my life that's perfect. The trick is, can we love them anyway? Because I believe that's what love is. All right, is that, you know, I don't like your behavior, or I really don't like what happened, but I love you anyway. You know, it may take me a while to sort of recover, but, you know, so to me, I think, Linda, in so many ways, you have demonstrated to us with everything to do with Nicholas, what unconditional love really is. And, you know, that is something for which I'm very grateful, because we talk a lot about it in terms of other things, but boy, you certainly were living proof of what unconditional love is. So, Willie Nelson, the singer, said, when I started counting my blessings, my whole world changed. Turned around. Willie Nelson said that, right? When I started counting my blessings, my whole life turned around. So to me, I think about it so often, and I hope I do let you guys know that the work that all of you do, not just on the broadcast helping support people, but also what you do. I know a lot of you support people privately. You know, I don't have the words to be able to thank you for that. What I do need you to know is that each of us can change somebody else's life. All right, each of us can take a moment and pay something forward, or thank somebody, make somebody's day. You know, even if it's a quick tweet or a quick whatever. Whatever. I found out that word actually makes people laugh now. So, you know, depends how many A's you put in it as to how funny that becomes. Whatever. So to me, it's like there are so many gifts that we can give each other and tell them, you know, that we appreciate who they are. And to me, that is so important. So how many of you have found that when you start being grateful, your life changed? It's when we're constantly working on trying to change everything that our life is miserable. All right, so here we go. This is by John Wooden. I don't know who he is. anything, to be quite honest, but I'm certain somebody does. Talent is God-given. Be humble. Fame is man-given or people-given. Be grateful. Conceit is self-given. Be careful. So, how many of you have a problem with conceited people? Wow, Linda said, I passed a car park fee ticket onto somebody and in return got blessed by a nun today. Yes, isn't that amazing? I do that as well. I pass my, if I've only used up a little bit of a parking ticket, I also will stop and hand it to somebody. And, you know, it makes me feel good. I don't know whether that is, you know, I don't think I'm noble. I do it for very selfish reasons. I feel so good when I do it. I love seeing the look on their face, like, really? You're going to give it to me for nothing? Yep. There you go. Have a good day. By the way, next time you have some left, pass it on to somebody. You know how it feels. So, Reba McEntire, the country singer, said, I have a lot to be thankful for. I am healthy, happy, and I am loved. All right, Jodi's saying that she has a problem with conceited people if they think they're above all others in every way. Yes. Entitled, do you mean that, Jodi? Excuse me, just so I can understand it. And so here's a problem that I had. I actually, at one time, had quite a conversation with a therapist about that. What was the difference between, and I thought I was conceited. And it was interesting because a therapist actually caught me on something. I started a lot of conversations with, I don't want to sound egotistical, but da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he said to me, why do you keep saying that? I said, what? And he said, why do you start the sentence with, I don't want to sound egotistical? And I said, well, you know, I find that when I tell people things like that, that's what they think I am. They think I'm conceited or egotistical. And he said, but it's a fact. But what you're about to say is factual. And I said, yes. And he said, then it's their problem, not yours. That's not conceited. Wow. Nyasha saying, I think I understand something just now. Sal, based on what you're saying, the reason why I do feel the way I feel, which is sad, is because I want to change it. If so, that is so true of you. Yes, you know, and that's, you want to talk to Jodi about that. Jodi, when I first met her, Nyasha, Jodi wanted to change every sad thing that was going on in the world. And she probably still does at some level, but I've managed to work with her so she doesn't feel the need anymore, right? She doesn't feel that pain all the time. Yes, so Jodi's saying, apropos of the difference between egotistical and factual, she's saying it can be confidence, which is a different thing. Yes, and Linda's saying there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. Nyasha's saying, I mean, I don't like how things are, and they do bother and upset me. How do I change that? You can't change it. You can only change you, Nyasha. Right? And that's the learning. All right? And as Jodi's adding here, she learned how to change her thinking so that it doesn't drain or deplete her energy. All right. So she's not I mean, if you watch the news every day, you're going to be sad every day. All right. If you allow it to affect you. One of the things that people ask me a lot is, how do I not get affected by all the sad stories I hear on Dear Mama Sal? all the people who write to me with their horror stories. Why do I not take it in? And I go, because I have boundaries. All right. I don't, excuse me a second, I don't go and suck in all that negativity. I understand that the other person has a problem. It's not my problem. I can help them. That is my gift, but it's not my problem. All right, so Nyasha, this is such good work you're doing today, honey. I'm so proud of you. Nyasha is saying, yes, Jody, I feel so angry when things happen or occur that I do not like. And that's why I do not listen to the news. All right. But you understand that is your inability to put up a boundary and go, yes, that is really sad that all those people in paradise lost their homes. But my job is to do what I can to help them. It is not my job to get sucked into the misery of that. My job is, what can I do to help them? Maybe it's donate. Maybe I can write a letter to them. Maybe I can send a stuffed toy. Maybe I can, volunteer somewhere. The thing is, don't concentrate on the negative. The trick, Nyasha, is to say, I will not get sucked in by that. Let me think about what I can do. Maybe I can't help the people in paradise, but maybe I can help my next door neighbor, because that will make a difference too. Do you understand, Nyasha? It's when we're always thinking that we have to fix the world. I call that the ruler of the universe stuff. Yes, Jody, I assure you, Nyasha, if anybody knows this one, it's Jody. And she's saying, I work on it daily. Yeah, and I remind her nearly daily. So, but Nyasha, the fact you can talk about it is so awesome. I'd like to give a big round of applause to Nyasha, because that's difficult stuff to admit. But if you can see it, you're halfway there. That's the amazing thing. If you can see that your thinking makes you sad, if you can see that not being able to control your emotion when you see something like that is your stuff, then you have come a long way in a very short time, young lady. I am very proud of you. I say young lady, I know you're, yeah. And, Linda's been there, Jody's been, I certainly have been there. I assure you that I certainly understand it as well. It's one area that's tough to avoid. Yes, Nyasha, we all get hit by it every day. And so that's why when you learn how to control it a little better, and you understand all we do here at DearMamaSal is we take one step at a time. You have taken today's step. Today's step is to see that you allow it to happen. All right? You allow yourself to get sucked into the emotion. You're trying to learn. Of course you are. And we're all going to help you. All right? I want to tell you something. Take a really deep breath and, please go like this. I want you to pat yourself on the back. To be able to see that is happening to you is, it gives me goosebumps. That is such a huge learning moment. That it's not about they do it to you, it's that you do it to yourself. If you can see that. All right, yeah. And Linda's saying, I always use Sal's words, I choose. I either do it or not, all right? And I choose to get upset or I don't. It's not that somebody else did it to me. If it's emotional, you did it to yourself. If I'm angry, it's an emotion. I did it to myself. If I'm in love, if you think about it, I did it to myself, right? I choose to feel good thoughts about somebody, enough good thoughts that I'm in love with them. But what I'm really in love with, Nyasha, what I'm really in love with is the feeling I get when I'm near that person. Ask Jody, when I say ask Jody, it's like I know how much she loves Lionel. And it's not just because he does so much for her. And it's, although a very large part of it is that, but she loves him at a whole different level. He makes her laugh. He's just, just a wonderful addition to her life. Now, Nyasha, we are all very sensitive people. Are you saying that people that can control that are not sensitive? Yes, Linda's saying she's now learned to say, I choose not to let that, or I choose to let that situation not affect me. That is a choice that we make. All right? So, and, to say, well, I can't help that I'm a sensitive person. We're all sensitive people. I really do believe that we're all pretty sensitive people. And so that isn't the issue. The issue is the reason we are sensitive is because we allow those emotions to actually consume us. Yeah. Okay, I get. Or maybe they are stronger than I am, but you're learning, Nyasha. That's the whole reason you're here. You're here to learn to be able to control those emotions in some way. I'm so proud of you. I want to send you a big hug. Yes, and that's why you're here. That's what Nyasha's saying. That's why I'm here, to stop being a weak individual. Yeah, being sensitive is a lovely quality, but not if it ruins us as a person. Well said, Linda. I consider myself to be a sensitive person, but I am learning every day how to control my emotion around that. Right? That is my responsibility. And I must admit, Nyasha, it took me a lot longer than you to realize that and to understand it. So well done. Mike Rowe, who is a television personality, said, I'm looking forward to the future and feeling grateful for the past. How many of you know that I would not be sitting here doing the work that I do today had I not had the past that I had? And a lot of it was not nice. I would not have the understanding that I have today if I had not been addicted to cigarettes. I would not have the understanding that I have today if I hadn't been a Me Too person. I would not have the understanding that I have today if I had had a family that was, unconditional love. And so I look at it. Yes, Linda's saying my past made me who I am. And Jody says we are all works in progress. I certainly believe that. And so Mike Rowe's comment, I'm looking forward to the future and feeling grateful for the past. I know that I would not be sitting here today had I not had the past that I have had. And Nyasha, we are grateful to have you here because you remind some of us how far we've come. And we also are controlling ourselves not to feel your pain because we're sensitive people too. And I hope I'm right in that I'm pretty certain that there are viewers that are feeling your pain. And the trick is not to get sucked in. The trick is just to take a deep breath and go, I trust Nyasha will continue to do the work to help herself. Yeah. And, Nyasha, when you're ready, I'm going to send you something which shows you the difference between a friend and an enabler. You see, if I were an enabler, I'd be trying to fix you. I believe you are capable of fixing yourself. I cannot help you change those emotions. I can give you information. I can give you little things that we found helps. But you have to do the work, right? As Jody has done, as Linda has done, as so many of the viewers have done. But you see, we believe that you were meant to find us and that you really want to do the work. And so just keep listening. You don't have to do a whole lot. Am I correct, Linda and Jody? You don't have to suddenly go and do a whole lot. Just keep coming to the broadcast. It'll make more and more sense each time. So Cicero, well known from way back, Cicero said, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others. It is the core of a human being. If you have the ability to be grateful, for those of you who are strong on religion and have great faith, you will know that gratitude is part of every faith. You know, every religion, there is a level of gratitude that you have. Yes, Jody is saying, first of all, Linda's saying, people can give you the ingredients and the recipe, but you have to actually make it. Yes, that's very true, Linda. They're very true. Jody's saying by keeping present, being in the moment, right, it all becomes more clear every week in my experience. What Linda is saying is that if you imagine you're trying to bake a cake or something, we can tell you what ingredients you need, and we can tell you how to mix it up. But you will only be able to taste that cake if you actually put those ingredients together and do it. Yeah, if you actually bake it, right? Otherwise, it's just somebody giving you the information. But if you actually bake the cake, then you took the information and did something with it. You are just doing a great job, Nyasha. Just take a deep breath and give yourself a pat on the back. Somebody said, I am grateful for what I am and what I have. My thanksgiving is perpetual, which is the whole point that we're talking about. Let's be thankful every day, not just on Thanksgiving. Don't be sorry, Nyasha, we totally understand. Whatever happened over the past year, be thankful for what it brought you. Where you are is where you're meant to be. All right, let's read that again. Whatever happened to you over the past year, be thankful for what it brought you. Where you are is where you are meant to be. One of the things that I say to people, your speed is the right speed for you. And, you know, sometimes you can have people and you're going, oh, I only wish that they understood this better, or I wish I could make it easier for them, or whatever. I really believe that everybody does things at their own speed. So there are times in my life where people have told me stuff and I go, yeah. And I've carried on doing what I was doing. And then, you know, they've told me again and I go, yeah. And I carry on doing what I was doing. Food would be a good example, or not smoking would be a good example. And then one day I, will wake up and I'll go, I think I understand what they were trying to tell me now. Have any of you had that experience? Where people were telling you all along the way how to get out of having this problem, and you just went, yeah, and carried on doing what you were doing. But then one day you just wake up and you go, I get it. And so I really believe that your speed is the right speed for you. I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe that it's a coincidence that anybody finds Dear Mama Sal as a program. I really don't. Yes, Linda's saying, that's a good example. Linda's saying, yep, usually with my parents' advice, yes. And we knew so much better than our parents, didn't we, for a while? Or we thought we did, yeah. And so, actually, that's a really good point that you make. Nyasha, I have a wonderful idea for you, thanks to Linda. Let me know if you'd like it. Wow, that's a brilliant trigger for me, Linda. Thank you so much. I am so grateful that you said that, because I am... Okay, we talk about that every week, Nyasha, in different ways, all right? And Nyasha's saying, how does a person stop themselves from being sucked into things as a means to prevent draining their energy? Did you find the link to Codependent No More, the Melody Beattie book that I believe I suggested you download? All right, Nyasha, here's what I'd like you to do, if you would like to. All right? You know those things that your parents say to you that upset you? Why don't you start writing them down? And then bring us those things that upset you, and we will work with you with the actual things to help you learn how to protect yourself. Would that be helpful to you? And if the answer is yes, let's thank Linda, because I realized what Linda said is exactly your issue. Thanks, Linda. I am so grateful. Regardless of the outcome, Linda, I'm so grateful. You see, that's what people do here. People will write to me privately and tell me things that are going on. And then what I do is I go, that's okay, now let's work with it. Because if every week, there is something that we can work on, it's going to help you and other people. You're not the only one. Yeah. So Linda's saying, if I can help when I've been helped, I'm so okay with it. Yes. And so, but what I'm suggesting here is that Nyasha actually brings us some examples so that we can help her learn how to not take it all in, and be able to see where the love is in a statement, and that it's not all negative. It just sounds like it to her. Okay, however it works for you. All right. Maybe just put down a keyword and somewhere. Just put down little keywords so that it'll trigger your memory. You don't have to write down exactly what they said. Just, put down a keyword so that when you come, you can look at the keyword and go, oh yeah, I need to repeat that one. And we'll take, one each time and see what we can do for you. I totally understand why you're doing it that way. Thanksgiving is a time of togetherness and gratitude. And therefore, if we are going to have Thanksgiving every day, we need to understand that togetherness is very important. Togetherness is very important. We cannot learn to be happy by isolating ourselves from other people. How many of you found that was a key thing to changing your life, was to stop isolating yourself and get into talking to other people, listening to other people? The one thing you guarantee, this is an interesting thing, the one thing you guarantee by isolating yourself is to be able to say, well, I know I'm right, because nobody's challenging your thinking. I've just realized I haven't heard Clarence. I should go and find out where he is and bring him back and see how he did. Hold on a second. Well, Nyasha, I'm delighted to hear that. All right. That is one of the things we talk about a lot, Nyasha, which is don't try and do the whole of something. One step at a time. How many times have you heard me say that? Let me give you an example, Nyasha. I knew that I needed to clean out my car, but the whole just thought of that was so disgusting because it's a mess that I didn't do it, and I didn't do it, and I didn't do it. So then I said to myself, what I'm going to do is every time I drive my car, when I get out of the car, I'm going to take one thing out or tidy up something, or do you understand? Just take one step towards getting my car tidy. I am amazed. I am about 3/4 of the way there in 3 trips. In fact, even 2 trips, I think. Why? Because once I just started doing it, it was amazing. I have started, for example, doing work on my back, making sure I get heat and cold on my back, and learning to take that time to edit videos, for example, right? So it's like I'm learning to take a little thing that I think is going to be a waste of time, and breaking it into multitasking sometimes works as well. Linda's saying, I isolated myself for years for fear of being rejected because of Nicholas. Yeah. But hey, now I walk with my head held high, and although it took a while, it is doable. Yes, it is doable. I constantly ask myself every day, Linda, not what I can't do, because that keeps me procrastinating. I keep asking myself, what one step can I take? All right. So even if I start working on project A and something gets in my way, I need something, or I've got to do whatever, I go, okay, what's the next step on the next project? What one step can I take on the next project? And I want to show you that system tonight, because it is actually what I do in real life. And I think it's also makes sense in getting things ready for Christmas. So I thought I would actually show you a visual representation of that. Because I thought it might help some people. Good. W. Clement Stone, a very well-known man with some great wisdom, a great philosopher, said, if you're really thankful, what do? You share. Yeah, Nyasha, just keep re-listening. If there's a bit that you don't understand or you're not sure what she's talking about, keep listening, to it a number of times. Say, okay, that's my thing for the week, to understand what she's talking about. You'll find that so much of being unhappy is your wish to control the world. Oh, Nyasha. Thank you. That's why I'm here. So you keep reading it, and you can bring me little parts of it, and I will try and give you. You see, what I believe is that if I can tell you my stories, maybe it'll make more sense. And I didn't come up with that philosophy. I think Jesus did, right? I think I read that in the Bible, that when you tell a story, sometimes it is easier to understand. Yesha, you bring tears to my eyes. I've always said that if I can help one person, then it's worth the time that it takes to do these broadcasts. And it's really important that you understand. I had to learn these things, honey. This is not that you're weird or different or anything else. Jody had to learn these things. Linda had to learn these things. So many of the viewers will have their own stories around these things. You are not alone. You need to know that this is part of growing up. How many of you understand that one? It's like there are certain things that worked for us when we were children, but now that we're adults, we need to have adult thinking. Well, Linda's saying, well, you helped us, Sal, so it was worth it. And I understand that, Linda, and that's why I continue to do it, because I do know that for some strange reason, and I don't want to sound egotistical, But for some strange reason, I do know that I have a way of saying things that people go, oh, is that what it means? And, you know, that is a gift. And if I don't share that gift, I would be, you know, not doing God's work. And that is how I see it. That it's not that I always get it right myself. It's like, if I can tell you a story and that helps make it make sense, then that is my gift. And I think that's really important. By the way, I wish to report Clarence got stuck. And that's the first time, actually, it's the second time I've seen him stuck. But it's the first time I've seen him stuck in my bathroom. And the reason was he managed to turn over one of the bath mats and it was rubberized on the underside. And that is what caused it. Okay, so he was still trying to clean. I'm going to open up the dust thing, but I'm a bit worried about doing that. But I know that you guys probably... Oh, it must have happened fairly early because he only managed to get that much. And that much. Now, you know, I do it every day. So I'm going to send him to carry on because I know he's capable of more than that. By the way, I've also taken a little bit of Swiffer. Swiffers are wonderful filters, I found in my life. And so I've sort of I've just put it in as a pre-filter to the one that you have to buy. Of course, that's what I would do, isn't it? Because I am Miss MacGyver, or Mrs. MacGyver. Okay, there you go, Clarence, off you go. Go do your work. Go do your work. I don't know how much battery he's got left, but doesn't it amazing how much hair gets picked up every day? And he picks it up from all over my house. Yes, Linda asked the question, how many steps did I take following Clarence around? Well, the first day, quite a few, I have to admit, because I needed to follow him everywhere to find out. I really didn't expect him to do that well. And for those of you who don't know who Clarence is, Clarence the cleaner. I really didn't expect him to do that well, and that's why I followed him around, because my previous experience had been, I borrowed somebody's, I think I got a iRobot or something it was called, the Roomba, one of the original ones, and it got stuck everywhere. It got stuck on my carpets, my rugs, it got stuck everywhere. And you know, I just, you know, never got one again because of that. And now something told me, you've got to listen to your inner voice. Something told me, you know, you need to get one now, because, you know, sweeping and doing stuff like that is hurting your back. So what about that? Okay, so let me just read what Nyasha's saying here. So many times I've heard the statement, you're not going to grow up, from my parents, or when are you going to? Yes, but I believe that they got the wrong idea, because, I mean, they still fold my clothes. Wow. All right, but that's very funny, actually. And they wake you up for work. Well, maybe the next time they say, when are you going to grow up? When you start treating me like an adult, you know, and let me, I love you dearly, but, you know, I am big enough to fold my own clothes, but I love that you do it for me. So give you pleasure to continue to do it. Be my guest, but know that I am more than capable of doing it myself. Wow. Yes. And you see, that's why they've never let go, Nyasha. They're still treating you like a baby, you know, like a 5-year-old. And I had to say it to my mother one time, you know, and I was probably well into my 20s, and she said something to me that was typical of something you'd say to a 5-year-old. And I said, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, Mom, but I'm not 5 anymore. I do know how to do that. And she went, what? And I said, you're talking to me like I'm a 5-year-old. And I'm not. I'm a 25-year-old. You know, I know how to fold my clothes. Or I know how to turn on the oven, you know, or I know how to, you know, set an alarm clock, Nyasha. And I would do it with some humor, all right? And go, Mom, I don't know if you noticed. But I'm in my 30s now. I know how to set an alarm clock. So I love you dearly for waking me up every morning, but you do know you don't need to. Just warn me if you're going to stop so I can start being an adult. Right? Nyasha, that was a really important bit of information. It's a really important bit of information you gave us, right? Because you are right. And that's why I want you to read the Melody Beattie book, because she will give you a lot of wording that will help you, help them. You know, bless their hearts, right? They are still treating you like a child. And that's probably why, in a lot of cases, you still think like one in some ways. And we all do, by the way. Oh, that's brilliant, Linda. Linda is saying, set your own alarm 10 minutes earlier than they will wake you up. All right. And so you can already be up when they come. And that's so clever, Linda. That will show, yes, that will show them without you saying anything that you're capable of getting up on your own. They don't need to keep doing it. Brilliant, Linda. I am impressed with that one. And it was said that gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. I think that's so true. Now, this one is an awesome one. I love this one. Let us be grateful to the mirror for revealing to us our appearance only. All right? Because that's all that a mirror does. It only shows you your outside. It doesn't show you your soul, your kindness, your gratitude. It just shows you your outside. Well, Nyasha, I understand. Nyasha's saying, that is what upset me a lot. I'm a person, I do not like to compete. So, I mean, if they're going to do it, I would not argue against it. Give that some thought, though, Nyasha. Give that a little bit of thought, whether you are not enabling them to keep continuing to treat you as a child. It sounds to me like your behavior is teaching them to continue. So give that a bit of thought, that's all. About the mirror quote, Linda says, oh my crikey, good job, my mirror shows nothing else. One of the things I was doing with Lauren last night was teaching her how to be able to communicate with her sister, even though she can't talk and she cannot use any of her limbs at the moment. And I was teaching her to teach her sister how to use blinking, for example, to say yes and no. And I said, you know, as she progresses, you know, if she can start moving her fingers, you know, make sure that you teach her that one single raised digit means go away, in two other words. You know, and it was just like, you know, you can really make some really fun communication signals with somebody who is learning to reuse their limbs and their digits and things. So to me, it's, you know, rehab can be very frustrating, but you can also help make it fun for people. And so, and I do believe that I was saying how grateful I am that Lauren is as creative as she is, because a lot of the things that that Louise will need to learn. She can help her utilize her hands and things like that with all the crafts that Lauren does. And Lauren, has a room full of crafts. She's as bad as I am. And so, I was saying, gosh, isn't that incredible? You have all those things to be able to help her as she goes through rehab and later. And I thought that was really wonderful thought. An optimist is a person who starts a new diet on Thanksgiving Day or January the 1st. When we wake up every morning and are grateful, that's a great gift we give ourselves, right? And I really have to say that this new diet of gratefulness is one that I recommend. If you get up every morning and are grateful for things, it's amazing how it changes your day. And James Allen said, no duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks. Yes. So Niash is saying, I would have a room full of crafts. I'm always interested in creating things. Yeah. And so I really want to say that creating things, and by the way, I know that you have some visual problems, Niasha, but I can assure you blind people create things too. And I know that you're not blind, but you understand what I'm saying. Don't think that because you are visually challenged that you can't create things, because that is not true. And it really is important for you to understand how much you can do. I think you spend a lot of your time telling yourself what you can't do. And I would like you to start saying, let me stop saying that to myself. Let me find out what I can do. All right. When you start seeing what you can do, your life is going to be happier. And not get frustrated. You ask Jody. Jody will tell you this, as her health caused her to lose the ability to do certain things, she started to get really depressed about the fact that she couldn't do the things she used to be able to do. Well, that's living in the past. What the important lesson was for Jody and all of us is, let's work. If this is as good as it gets, how am I going to be happy? So if this is as good as your eyesight ever gets, Nyasha, I would say to myself, let me find out what I can do. Can I still thread a needle? Well, no. Maybe not. Can I still make bracelets? Maybe no. But can I still do art? Maybe yes. So to me, I'd be looking for, what can I do? Can I still knit? Is it possible to knit? Is it possible to crochet? I'd be spending my time finding out what can I do, and do those things while you still can. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. All right, you love technology. Yes, excellent. All right, and I know that we've helped you find some stuff to do there. Yes, Jody's saying, Sal set me on a correct path of looking at what I can do. It changed me. Yes, I want to tell you something, Jody. That's what as I get older, it's not about, oh gosh, I can't do all those things I used to do when I'm young. I'm going, yeah, but what do you need to be doing? Because you might not be able to be doing this next year. All right, what if I can't paint next year? What if I can't, use my, one of the things that's causing a problem at the moment is I've got a shaking going on. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got this tremor going on in my hands. And they're, trying to find out what's causing that. But what happens if I can't type anymore? What happens if I, and this is the whole thing. Right. So Nyasha saying she can't thread a needle, but she found an idea on Pinterest recently. What was the idea? So we can share it with other people. Because we might know people that need this idea. Tell us how it works. Thank you, Nyasha. Well done. I'm very proud of you. And it works. How did you do it, Nyasha? That's so amazing. I can't wait to find out. So, yeah, and you see, that's the whole thing I'm trying to encourage you to do, is not keep thinking, oh gosh, I can't do this, I can't do that. I want you to start reporting to us what you can do and what you have done. I want to know, what did you experiment with this week? You're going to see me, I did something in, my halogen oven that I bring out in the winter. I actually cooked 2 chickens in a halogen oven. I mean, seriously, the thing is a fishbowl, and I cooked 2 chickens at one time in it. And I'm going, I didn't know that it could do that. But you see, I tried it, being me, Miss MacGyver. I thought, wonder if you can cook 2 at the same time. There's only one way to find out. That's to do the experiment. Ah, that is awesome, Linda. Linda says, can I just say, Sal, that listening to you 1 chat a week gives me enough buzz to get through the week. Thank you. Well, thank you for letting me know that. And I want to tell you something, Linda, that I'm not joking. Knowing you, I want to know how Nicholas did with the vacuuming. I would like to know how, and I'm certain the rest of the viewers as well. Jody, can you make a note so we can keep track of this? How did Nicholas do with making dinner in the slow cooker, making that stew? I really am interested to know, because it gives me stories to tell people, that I might meet outside of Dear Mama Sal. And it's like, it is so important that we treat people as able. I would love a picture. And, if it's okay with you, I would like to be able to say that this is Nicholas, who, by the way, there are levels of autism on the scale, right? At what level is he? I think that's how they describe it, right? Yes, I would love it to encourage people to realize that would be such a great use of Dear Mama Sal as a channel. To be able to show a picture and go, Nicholas has autism, but okay, could you? All right, so Jody, write that down for me if you will, please. So that I can do a bit of research into that and understand what I'm talking about. Because I think it's so important, Linda, that we tell people, whether it's a child or a parent, or, like I was trying to help Lauren with her sister. There are ways to communicate with people who cannot talk. And how do I know that? I have, I have seen it done. Oh, it's literal language. Yes. So if you say, yeah, it's very dangerous. It'd be, so you can say, clean up the whole house. I mean, he'll clean up everything, right? He won't just go and scatter clean anywhere. He will literally start washing walls and doing all sorts of things. Literal language. Yeah. Put a hat on is different. Yes. Yeah, I understand. Okay. All right, so here's what Neosha says for those of you listening about threading that needle. She said, okay, so there's the eye of the needle. Get a small piece of paper smaller than the eye and make sure to fold it over on itself. Place the thread inside that piece of paper and slowly push the paper into the eye. So clever with the thread, right? And then pull it through, and so doing, you will thread the needle. That is so clever. I'm thinking tin foil would probably, no. That is so clever. Have you seen those needle threaders, Nyasha? The ones where it has a piece of wire and you put this threader through the eye of the needle, and then you put the thread through the bit of wire that sticks through, and then you pull that back. Same idea. So they actually, I have one when I use my sewing machine, which is about once every 6 years, no, 20 years. I've got one for that. Yes, the other thing is, I know some people who have a magnifying glass that you can wear. I've actually had that, where there's a magnifying glass that you can wear. And I used to use it when I was doing crafts. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Aren't you lucky that we've got YouTube? There are so many answers to so many questions. It was interesting. Jody and I both have what they call a CPAP machine, and that's something that forces air into us at night because we need that. We stop breathing at night. And one of the things that we wanted to do was change the humidity and the amount of air. And, officially, you're not meant to be able to do that. You need to take it to some place to have it done. Well, guess what? It's on YouTube. So when Jody was having an issue, I said, hold on a second. And, I found it on YouTube. Oh my gosh. So Linda's saying, okay. I just have to say, Nicholas just came downstairs and he has shaved himself. Oh, Nicholas, I am so proud of you, boy. That is awesome. I am just, wow. Well, you see, Nyasha, one of the things that we all learn in life, and that would be Nicholas and yourself and everybody else, is everything's easy to do once you know how to do it. All right? And so I can imagine the pride that Nicholas must feel that he did that for himself. That is a tremendous gift that he gave himself today. And, just so that everybody understands how important that is, how old is Nicholas now? He's 27. Oh, he must be so excited about that. Well, I am really, I am so proud of him. I can't imagine anybody listening to this broadcast that isn't touched by that. That for him to have learned how to do that, it's never too late to learn, right? In terms of his abilities, it's never too late for him to learn. And I just want to say that you sharing this information, the thing I would ask each of us is, when you're struggling to do something, would you remember Nicholas? Yeah, I also obviously have tears. Remember Nicholas, or remember Aaron, with cerebral palsy, or remember Jody, with recovering from cancer, recovered from cancer, but got lymphedema instead. Remember Nyasha, who has very limited vision. And let's all remember that we each have our crosses to bear. None of us is in an easier or better place. Some of us have physical disabilities. Some of us have mental disabilities. Some of us have strength restrictions. Some of us have mental happiness restrictions, right? Each of us in the world are striving to do better. And we're all going at our own pace. If what we can do with Dear Mama Sal is help one person take one step in a better direction for them, that makes them happier, like Nicholas, then I want to tell you something. This is the greatest thing for which I am thankful. And I have to say that. And I cannot be thankful for Dear Mama Sal without being thankful to Benji, because it was Benji who said, Sal, I want to share you with the world. And so I would dedicate the whole of this to Benji, as I try and do on a fairly regular basis. I actually write to Benji and Judy every now and then when somebody writes me a letter to say, this is where I was at and this is what happened, and I really want to thank you. I will actually take that letter and pass it on to Benji and Judy and say, this would never have been possible without you believing in what I did. And so Linda's saying about Nicholas, she said, he was worried I didn't want him to do it. Well, I'm so proud of you for trusting him to be able to do it, or allowing him. Well done, Nicholas. Yes, be kind to others. We are each fighting battles that others aren't aware of. Yes. And also understand that even the people that you think have got it most together in your life, they haven't. You know, some people have got workaholism as their addiction. Some people have got, you know, that they only show the good side of themselves. You never hear about the bad side, right? They're not authentic in a lot of ways, right? They play, believe me, I lived that life, you know, where you actually play the part of being happy. Do any of you recognize that in yourself? You know, you used to pretend to be happy just to make people happy, but you weren't. You were miserable. And, you know, the whole thing is that when you realize that it's okay to be normal. Now, who wants to be normal? I know. But, you know, it's okay to have emotion. Just keep them under control. It's okay to be angry, but keep it under control. It's okay to be sad. But like Linda says, you know, you can actually have a really bad day and you can vent, but it's limited to 10 minutes. After that, get control. I don't want to hear anymore. Linda, I cannot tell you how many times I've told that story because it's such a great thing to help so many people. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. I am truly grateful to you all and for helping me do the work. A lot of people say this is my stuff, but it isn't. It is our stuff. As we know, we each help each other. This is a group effort. And as I've always said, Dear Mama Sal is like an extended family of people that care for one another and want the best for one another. And we understand that everybody is going to take their own time and do it at their own pace. And that is okay. I think one of the greatest letters I ever got from somebody was 4 years after I had spoken at a speech somewhere. And 4 years later, he wrote to me and said, Sal, I thought you were full of garbage. And what I did was I just rolled my eyes at everything you had to say, and I didn't believe any of it, and that was it. He said, but it's 4 years later, Sal, and I want to tell you because it's important to tell you. Everything you spoke of, and I did listen, everything you spoke of has become my reality. And therefore, I know that you're not full of the brown sticky stuff, that you actually tell the truth. And for that, I want to thank you. I am so sorry I didn't believe you 4 years ago. And I'm so sorry that life had to show me in some pretty horrific ways that you were right. But now that it's been shown to me, and now that I understand, thank you. I thought that took such incredible courage to write that letter. Linda, we give each other a hug every week, in my view. So big hugs to you all. Thank you for being here. Nyasha, thank you for telling your truth. It helps us explain it to you, but you understand it helps other people, Nyasha, that haven't actually signed on to the chat. People who ghost, who listen but don't talk. Your situation is, you're not alone. I get a lot of people write to me about those things. And so I just want you to understand that you have already helped a lot of people, Nyasha. So you keep doing what you do at your speed, and we will keep helping you at your speed. All right. We don't need you to get it all fixed by tomorrow. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing. And as Linda said, and as Jody says, as the weeks go by, you'll start noticing you change. It's a bit like Jody and I, that now that we've started pre-prepping meals, we've noticed that we are changing in terms of what foods we crave. So all the best. Big hugs to you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us all. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, be grateful. Make every day Thanksgiving. Bye-bye for now.